Happy African Day. What are you doing to celebrate your African Day? What does African Day mean to you? Well, African Day was formerly known as Liberation Day, and it marked our liberation from European colonizer. It is a day where we reflect on some of the challenges that we've had. We applaud the successes, the milestone that we've been able to achieve, and it's also a time of reflection from really where we were and how far we have come. So yesterday we celebrated it with our community, which is called the Internations community. It's a community for expatriates, but of course we welcome people from all over, even Kenya. And what we do as a community is really network. We get to know each other better. We get to know what everyone does here, and we get to know as well the city in which we live. So yesterday was a really colorful day, as you know, every African came dressed in the traditional attire and in the traditional gear. It really looked beautiful. I had a bit of difficulty looking for an attire there, well, because I represent every part of Africa. My great-grandmother was from Mauritania, my grandmother from Mali, my grandfather from Senegal, my dad is from Cote d'Ivoire. I am married to a Malawian, and we both live in this amazing Kenya. So clearly I am a true definition of African Union. So yesterday we had quite interesting discussion really regarding Africa, how far we have come as a continent, and it really took me back to a discussion I held last year with a taxi driver while in France. I had just landed into the country, and my mother and I took a taxi back home, and coincidentally our driver was from Mali. So we ended up discussing about France, you know, what he likes being there, the opportunity that the country offered him vis-a-vis what he had in Africa, and the conversation went on and on and on. Until a point where he said something that really got me angry. He said, well, there is nothing in Africa. I was puzzled, I was shocked, and I asked him, what do you mean by that? I come from Africa. I live and I work in Africa. If there was nothing, what would I do there? So he asked me, do you have a car? I said, yes, I do. Do you have a house? He said, yes, I do. He said, well, when you have a car and you have a house, well, you live well. But for people like us, we don't have much to show, and the opportunities are quite minimum, and there is nothing for us. I say, well, before owning a car, I first started by walking, and then I started using the matatu, the common transport system that we have here in Kenya. And of course, before owning a house, I used to rent houses, and I had to look for money to pay for my rent every single month. I started from somewhere. Everyone started from somewhere. But I never gave up on my continent. So the fact that you are saying there is nothing, I hope that you are actually doing something to build your continent, and in particular your country. And he says, well, no. And that is a problem I have with expatriates. Well, in Kenya, I think there were some statistics recently. I think I must have seen them back in 2016 or early 2017 about the amount of money that expatriate brings back in Kenya. And that is something really I want to applaud. Yes, you're outside, but you're still building your country. You're still building your continent. But today I would like to address my talk to those expatriates who go and they never come back. I get really worried about that. Yeah, as I mentioned in some of my posts earlier, I train young people between the ages of 14 to 20 and young adults between the ages of 21 to 25. And like everyone, they all want to go and study abroad. And I applaud them for that. I encourage them to go and study abroad. Get exposed. Learn from those developed countries. Because our realities and theirs differ greatly. So go and get exposed. Learn from them. Get the skills. But come back in Africa. Come back to your continent. Come back to your country and build up your country with the knowledge that you have acquired. We cannot be complaining all the time about the government. The government sees, the government that. Yes, the government needs to play a role, but so do you. I asked my taxi driver that day, I said, well, forget about the fact that we as African Francophone countries still pay taxes to France. So we are still building the economy. If that is not enough, we have many young people going, migrating to Europe to get this opportunity that you're looking for, to get a better life. You get a life, but you spend all your money in that country again. So you keep working for your colonizers and forgetting where you come from. With that mentality where there will never be anything in Africa. But if you decide to change that, you decide to come back with your knowledge, you decide to come back with your expertise, you decide to come back with your resources, then together we can build Africa. We can make an impact in our continent. So come back. If you don't come back, bring back your resources. Let's build Africa together. And that is my talk for you today as we commemorate this great African Day. Let's come back, let's build our continent. Let's make it what we want to be. Whatever we see in Europe, we can make it here. We talk about corruption. Well, corruption starts with you and I. When a police driver stops us, and we decide not to go to the police station, but remove some money, we are corrupted. Corruption starts from us. But if we stop all form of impunities, we are building a better tomorrow for Africa. So let's do that, and happy African Day.